80,000 Wildberries workers are not happy with Putin right now, and they may not be the only ones, because Russians are now openly criticizing this war on camera, and some of them are even proving their identities first. They're telling Putin to leave the country and go live in North Korea. You see, Ukrainian strikes inside of Russia are doing damage Putin never thought he would have to deal with. Russia's refining output just collapsed to a level the country hasn't seen since Putin became really Putin. All that progress that he made in the 2000s is now disappearing in front of our eyes. Russia is heading back to the 90s. I guess he's truly rebuilding the Soviet Union. He's literally taking the country back in time. To make matters worse for Moscow, Ukraine has now launched new weapons. New missiles and new drones are coming onto the battlefield, and Russian war bloggers are in full panic mode. The Russian casualties are out of control, and the situation is going to keep getting worse if Ukraine keeps on innovating. As you guys know, my name is Sam, you're watching Business Basics, and let's get into all of this. Now, I want to show you guys the Wildberry workers who are now losing their jobs because of Putin. But first, I have to show you guys this clip of Putin's convoy trying to get supplies onto the front lines. And as you guys know, according to Ukraine's Operation Lockdown, that's a no-no. So let's take a look at this clip. Now, as you guys know, because of Operation Lockdown, the highway has become highway of death. And now we can see why. To get around Ukrainian drones, Russia has sent 3 air defense vehicles. So the black circles, those are air defense vehicles. You can see one on the front, one in the middle, and one in the end. And with these 3 air defense vehicles, Russia has sent 3 fuel tankers or fuel trucks, whatever you want to call them. In the red, you can see the fuel truck. Unfortunately, it seems like it was a waste of time sending the air defenses because they did not do anything. Take a look. Here's what I mean. Seems like the air defense truck was just watching the movie. He was just enjoying the scenery. Didn't seem like he did anything. I'm pretty sure all the other ones are now running away. But it's not going to be a pretty sight for them either. And that's the second one. Not good success rate. Now, as if this couldn't get any worse for Russia, there was another fuel convoy that came down this exact same road right afterwards, and it captured everything that went down, the whole aftermath. And of course, the Russian driver was commentating the whole thing, so I don't have to do it for you guys. Just take a listen and take a look.
The road to Melitopol. We have to travel like this now, accompanied by a mobile fire group. It's safer this way, more secure. So this is what we've come to. Look at us now, 2026, escorted by a mobile fire group. The price. This is what our little work trips look like these days. They just fucking burned one. There was a strike, it's burning. Look, here's another one. It burned today. It's still smoking over there. That's a military Ural truck. And over there in the distance, they burned another one. Something's burning. Some kind of vehicle too. Some kind of equipment. Donetsk Starobeshevi Highway. There's another one over there. They burned this fuel truck today.
Now, these are what I would call middle range strikes, or I guess that's what everyone is calling them, not really me. And Ukraine has been using these to hit supply lines to make it harder for Russia to feed its frontline troops, and of course its occupied territories. But again, that does not mean Ukraine has given up on long range strikes inside of Russia. Those have continued too, and those are the reason behind why 80,000 workers are now pissed at Putin. Let me show you what I mean. Those 80,000 workers work at Wildberry's warehouses. And once I show you the recent strikes, I think you'll get the picture. Just yesterday morning, Ukraine hit another Wildberry's warehouse, this time in St. Petersburg. And economists are now saying that if this campaign continues, it could push the Russian economy into a full crisis. We have a footage of the strike happening in real time. And there is a PSA I have to say before I show you this footage. This may be the last footage we get out of these Wildberry warehouses that are burning down, because the company has implemented a new policy. It's now banning employees from having their phones on the job. I'm guessing they're doing this because they don't want footage like this coming out. So take a look. Enjoy. And of course, here's our bingo card. You can see this facility was a top 10 Wildberries facility in terms of its size. It was number 6 right here in the Leningrad region. And of course, just a quick Russia lesson. St. Petersburg used to be called Leningrad, that's the city, but the region itself, like the state area, is also called Leningrad, and this warehouse was near the city of St. Petersburg. Its size was roughly 150,000 square meters, that's roughly 20 football fields, just for you to visualize, and on top of that, the newest section of this warehouse just finished building in March of 2026. So just a few months ago, and I don't think they got a lot of use out of it. And remember, these are like Amazon. This is basically Russia's Amazon. And what that means is this company invested a lot of money in this warehouse, and it was hoping to make that money back over its lifetime. Maybe it's 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. I don't exactly know. But it put in a lot of money hoping to make a profit down the line, and now that the warehouse is destroyed, I'm guessing it's gonna count it as a loss. So not good news anyway. Take a look at the fire that was burning after the strike. So on your screen, you see a graphic that shows all the strikes that have taken place against Wildberry warehouses, 13 in total. And in the top left, you can see the strike that we just saw. That was the Krasny Bor. Well, that strike affected 7,500 people. Those were the workers who were employed at their warehouse. Now, that's just one facility. If we zoom out, we can see 13 facilities have been destroyed, and if we add up all the people working at all these places, that's 82,000 people who are probably out of a job. And of course, that's not good news for any leader. Now, to be fair, let's go back to our bingo card because I want to point out something. Not all of these facilities have been completely destroyed. Roughly 3 of them were hit, but they weren't completely destroyed, just damaged. So that 80,000 number may be a small overestimate if we just look at the Wildberries warehouse workers, but not by much. And on top of that, we have to keep in mind that it's not just the workers who are working in the warehouse that are getting affected. There are sellers who used to sell on the platforms, sell on Russia's Amazon, who are now being affected because warehouses are not operational. People can order something, but if they don't get it, the company Wildberries is not going to make money, and that means sellers who are selling on Wildberries are not going to make money. Now, because of these strikes, a big portion of the Russian society is mad, including those sellers that we just talked about, and of course Russian propagandists who want Russia to win this war, but it doesn't look like things are going according to plan. Now, before we talk about those propagandists, let me show you this clip from a Wildberries seller who's talking about how he has to shut down his business, lay off people because of this. Take a listen.
What do we have today? Another warehouse? I don't even want to talk about it anymore. We're going under with Wildberries. We don't even count our losses anymore. Yeah, we're going under. We stopped counting our losses a long time ago. I don't know if we'll be able to push off from this bottom anymore. Either everything will shut down or something will change. I just don't know yet. Restructure. Something has to be restructured. I don't even know yet how all of this will work out. We'll see. Time will tell, guys. The most important thing, guys, is take care of your nerves. Take care of your nerves because nerve cells don't regenerate. And that's your health. Yeah, in this situation, there's nothing we can do anymore. Yes, there's nothing we can do to change this situation anymore.
And here we have the complete estimate of exactly how much damage these strikes are doing to the Russian economy. And important to point out here that these estimates are coming from Russian sources. Because keep in mind, Ukrainians, they are in a fight for their life, fight for their land against Russia. So Ukrainians have a habit of, overestimating things. They usually try to lean towards the high end of any estimate, which makes sense. If I was defending my country, I would do the same thing. But Russians, on the other hand, don't have an incentive to overblow any crisis. In fact, you can argue that Russians, especially Russians who are living in Russia, they probably have an incentive to, underplay any crisis because Putin has a habit of throwing critics in the gulag. So if they want to stay out of the gulag, they probably want to, criticize in a respectful way. And this is what the Russian analysts are saying. Take a look. Without government support, Wildberries will not survive. The attacks on the warehouses have put the company on the brink of collapse. Direct losses for Wildberries from the destruction of warehouses could already exceed 100 billion rubles. That's roughly or little more than $1 billion. And in the worst case, these losses could reach up to 200 billion rubles. That's $2.5 billion. Now, of course, dollar figures don't really matter much to Russians because they earn in rubles, they spend in rubles, including Putin for the most part. Of course, the oil sales are coming in dollars. So let me put this in perspective. Russian government budget is around